What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 52 of the Halving Report podcast with myself, your host, Brad Mines. The price of Bitcoin has been pumping. We're currently around 44,000 US dollars at the time of this recording, or about 55,500 Canadian. You know, here at the Halving Report, we're always counting down the days until the next Bitcoin halving, and Bitcoin blocks occur approximately every 10 minutes or so, and there's still over 145,000 blocks until the next halving occurs. Today, we have another long-time cryptocurrency enthusiast, Alex Sterk, on the show. Alex is the host of Blocktalk and co-founder of Ubiq, and was a really fun guest to have on the show. So let's get right to it. Alex, welcome to episode 52 of the Halving Report podcast. Thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's jump right into it. Maybe you could just give the viewers a little bit of context by telling us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and your early life.
Okay. I'm Alex Sterk. I grew up in southwestern Ontario, middle of nowhere, half hour from everywhere, pretty much right dead center of the province. I grew up on a dairy farm and then got into electrical engineering, specializing in automation. And then during my time doing some night shifts at an auto plant, someone asked me, like, hey, have you heard about this Bitcoin thing? And like from then on, I was just hooked and infatuated, reading about it as much as I can. Bought some Doge off of eBay, and from there I was like, okay, let's go full bore. Let's get some Bitcoin, and I bought some other coins at the same time. And as kind of got deeper into the rabbit hole and had some kind of ponderings about my own personal life, I found myself in my car driving out west and settling in Vancouver, where I met probably the most hardcore crypto crowd I probably could have found. It's where the first Bitcoin ATM was built, and there's a really cool basement space there called Decentral, and they were already doing like podcasts and stuff, and then I got lumped in as a panel member, and then eventually had my own show. And I was doing my show called Blocktalk for a number of years. I think we did like 150 episodes. It's been a little while since, because it was mainly like a research tool for me. And I guess once I kind of had my own project on the go, working with the Ubiq community and kind of helping organize the project, I found it hard to be impartial. And at that time, it seemed like a lot of the YouTube influencers were coming into the space, and it was like, all right, well, I don't know if I want to be too much in the limelight here, or like, so there's a number of different factors that kind of put it to the side. I'm definitely interested in kind of, I guess, talking with some projects again, but I don't think it's going to have I'm going to be as lucky as I was the first time, where you could just, email Dan Larimer and be like, hey, you want to come on my show? And sure enough, he comes on and wants to talk about whatever he's building. We definitely got some really cool episodes on the channel. If you want to see a little time capsule of crypto from like 2015 to 2017, there's a lot of really cool interviews, a lot of interesting moments in history, and we talk about the price, where the network is, what's being developed. Even one of my old shows was used as court evidence for a guy who ended up going to jail. He was the only one who ever hung up for my questioning, and apparently it didn't work out so well for him. So that one's Cabbage Tech. That one's, I think, a lot of people's favorites. You get a guy in an anonymous mask who I just asked him simple questions for about an hour, and then he flips out and hangs up. So that's kind of where I'm at, working on the Ubiq stuff, and back in good old Ontario, back from Vancouver. I figured no better place to be during COVID times than back on the farm helping out, where people still wait from their steering wheels.
You said a lot there, Alex. I want to jump back. Like you're entering the crypto space. You said you bought Bitcoin afterwards. Did you say you bought Dogecoin off of eBay? Did I hear that correctly?
That is correct, because I was reading about it. I'm like, I need to experience this. I need to like at least try this out. I'm like looking around. Okay, what's the easiest way I could buy Bitcoin right now? I'm like, all right, let's check out eBay. I'm like, oh, these ones all look a little sketch. I'm like, oh, here's someone selling Dogecoin. I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get scammed, it's probably less likely to happen with the cute little dog coin. And like, sure enough, the guy was like the most amazing, like spokesperson for the space. Like, it was so helpful. He was like, here's a test transaction. Oh, you got it, good. Okay, yeah, double check that your wallet works. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for the rest. And then he sent me even like a little bonus bit after. So yeah, Doge was my first foray into the cryptocurrency space.
Now, have you been holding Doge ever since, or did you get rid of
Oh,
it at some
I
point?
still have that original $35 that I bought. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And how do you know Brad Mills? Is this through online Twitter interactions, or just locally, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how we got connected at first. I think he was kind of getting back into the space in like 2016 or 17 after being off a few years. I don't know if he found my podcast or we somehow met up on Twitter, but he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the area. You want to meet up for lunch or something?" So we just both drove to the nearby town and sat down for lunch, kind of gave him the scoop on where the space was and kind of got him up to speed a bit. But I still don't think he's up to speed. I think Brad is forever like behind the eight ball a bit.
Well, maybe you can explain Ubiq for us.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I guess it kind of all starts with a community, which is the best place for a coin to start, because like Bitcoin started with an email list on a cryptographic forum. So they're back in 2014. Crypto Cobain, he actually started an IRC chat room called Coin Markets, and it was one of kind of the place to be for talking altcoins and different projects and what people were thinking of building and like getting some feedback and stuff. So main guy Julian, he decided he wanted to help build a coin, and created a fair launch proof of work currency called Coin Markets Coin. And it went through a couple iterations, but like the original supply still exists to this day as Ubiq, which is a fork of Ethereum, a fork of the code base mainly. So Ubiq is a proof of work EVM that runs Solidity. All the contracts are backwards compatible. You can swap, take the token contract, deploy it on Ubiq, and it all functions the same. We made a couple minor tweaks. So one of the main things was a longer block time, because that actually improves decentralization, reduces uncles and forking. So it makes it a lot easier for the miners to prove consensus, and it doesn't require a lot of pools to work together. It also allows the nodes to be way less bandwidth intensive. So you can actually run a full Ubiq node on a Raspberry Pi. So yeah, this was kind of our kind of gift to the industry of like all these open source tools and projects that are all pulled from Ethereum. So we kind of view ourselves as the stable build of Ethereum. So if you're familiar with like Linux or any sort of software that's pushed out, there's like a current build and a stable build. So like there's the one that's being worked on and like it's cutting edge, all the new stuff comes to it, and then there's like one revision behind it, which is a stable build that has all the bumps ironed out of it. So we kind of view Ethereum a bit as our test net. So that's what Ubiq is. We're really just a community of enthusiasts. So no ICO, no pre-mined coin, and you can mine it even with 2 gigabyte graphics cards. So it's very approachable. It's a great way to learn and participate in the network, not just be a speculator or anything like that. If you want to build a dApp, like Ubiq is probably the best place to go. We got all the devs to support you, all the resources, and a network that works.
Now you mentioned that Ubiq didn't have a pre-mine or an ICO. How important is that for a platform like Ubiq in regards to regulatory environment, or just plain operational and how it works?
Oh, it's hugely important. Like all this news that's coming out in the past few days, like I don't sweat it. No one on our team sweats it. Like we haven't had to pay legal fees in the years. Like we got a legal memo to say we're not a security, but it was really easy to get because like it's the same concept of Bitcoin. No one has an unfair advantage. No coins are set aside. There's no dev tax. There's no tomfoolery going on with the coin supply. Everyone who has coins mined them or bought them from someone who did. So yeah, we're one of the only coins that can trade in the US with very little issue. Like we're on Bittrex Global and we're on Bittrex US.
So do you see Ubiq as a competitor with Ethereum or something that can like coexist?
Oh, coexist. Yeah, like we're kind of like a complementary network. Because yeah, like I think Ethereum, like especially now where you see there's kind of these issues that are forming with I guess the power structure and trying to figure out where to take the network, and people are arguing over monetary policy and all these different things. And like if you're a business and you want to build on something like Ethereum or just an EVM in general, like Ubiq is like meant to be enterprise stable. Like our pitch is that, you know, we're like the Red Hat Linux. Like we're the stable build that you can always count on to work, and we're not going to throw you a random hard fork that's got to have another hard fork a week later. Like we're meant to be a no fuss, no muss, you know, like it's just the network that works. And yeah, that means like we're just, you know, an add-on, you know, part of the ecosystem of Ethereum. Like we don't view ourselves as an Ethereum killer. I think that's kind of asinine, anyone who wants to say that. Like Ethereum is the bleeding edge, but there are some trade-offs that come with that.
I was asking you about the Ethereum improvement protocol.
Yeah, 1559. So yeah, the main thing is it's going to take part of the fees in each block and burn them. There's a couple of reasons they're doing this. Create deflation. So like since ether is being produced every block, this is a way to actually burn some ether every block as well. And that might push more people to ETH2 when it finally launches and is providing utility. And then I think it also incentivizes miners to try and include as many transactions in a block as possible, because if they're part of their reward is being burned, they have to try and collect as many fees as possible to compensate for that. And it might even help with miner collusion a bit, or pool collusion. If pools are like spamming transactions, then they're not going to get that back now. So they can't just artificially raise the price of transactions because now they're being burned. It's not just going back to them. So yeah, there's a couple of reasons they're doing it. It's definitely controversial. And I thought they weren't going to do it. Like they had a call about it, and they're like, "Well, we're getting a lot of contention about it, so I don't think we're going to do it for the next hard fork." And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Yeah, here's London hard fork 1559." And it's like, okay, what happened in the last convo? So, yeah, Ethereum governance is a very fickle thing. It's kind of hard to really get a grasp on. There's a bunch of different groups that are doing discussions, and yeah, at the end of the day, it seems like someone is making the decision, and I don't know if we're really privy to it.
Now, have you been paying attention to the infrastructure bill that's happening down in the States, and the language used with cryptocurrency, some of the things said by the SEC and Elizabeth Warren? I know you said that Ubiq hasn't had to pay any legal fees in some time, but what do you think it means for the larger crypto community?
Yeah, I think a lot of this is a bit of posturing. I think it will probably like be really targeting people who are running basically startups that are providing banking solutions, which I don't know. I saw the recent revision where they said like miners would be excluded, and programmers, and I don't know, node operators or something, which is pretty much all the Ubiq network is. So like we just got excluded from the broad statement now. So yeah, I mean like it seems like it's a lot of posturing, but the SEC, like they have really been like flip-flopping on what a security is and what isn't. There's some stuff that is definitely a security. Like I've seen enough projects in my time doing interviews of like, yeah, no, like this is totally a centralized company, and like it doesn't pass the Howey test. Like it's totally just like you're making a stock as a token, and like that's going to happen one day, and I think there'll be a framework for it. And I think that's kind of the growing pains we're going through with these bills. But yeah, I think it's something that like the language needs to be written a lot better. And I think there'll be some people who are unfortunately caught in the crossfire where they're building cool products and now they're getting their hands slapped a bit. But I saw that was a CFTC chair said like pretty sure the SEC has no authority to regulate, or the SEC has no authority to regulate commodities. So if crypto and like a bunch of these assets are commodities, like the SEC has no point in making any statement on them. So like now you're seeing like a lot of these organizations, enforcement organizations, are just like no, like this is our jurisdiction. No, it's our jurisdiction. So like it's a completely new medium. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see in a few years there's going to be like a specific action force for regulating crypto, because decentralized finance and all these things, it's meant to be whack-a-mole. Like they can tell Uniswap to take down assets off their front page, but that means there's like a whole nother page that can be booted up. But yeah, I mean, like it's built to be anti-fragile. Like it doesn't really matter what happens in the short term, because in the long term it's going to win. So it's basically just wasting government resources trying to regulate it. Yeah, and like this is part of like the stuff that we're building with Ubiq. Like we built a fork of MetaMask, or fork of MetaMask and a fork of Uniswap, and we put out the guide. So now you can host your own front end of Uniswap on your own node, your own Raspberry Pi. Like you don't ever have to go to our sites to do it. You can just interact directly with the blockchain and do all the same things that you normally would with these websites that are up. So these are the decentralized future, and like the more the government presses on it, the more that like the people who are doing it right are going to be poking through and like surviving in the long term. Like we have no fear whatsoever of the long-term viability of what we're doing, because we built it to be like anti-fragile and to be decentralized and to let everyone host their own stuff, to build their own product, to be the network.
What about when it comes to private wallets and how governments may come to regulate them or require KYC for manufacturers?
Well, we definitely see some like I think it was already in like 2016, or maybe it was 2017. Like Japan and a couple other governments banned privacy coins, and like it seemed like a pretty preemptive action. I was like, well, if you're gonna make regulation, like that's the bullseye. Like that's the stuff to go for. Like that's where you're gonna have the biggest impact. It's still gonna happen, but now it's like your populace is not even gonna bother with exploring it. Where it really gets more difficult is like where privacy is an application on the network. It's not like the core functionality. It's not like privacy by default. So that's something else that we had forked and it got launched on Ubiq, is Tornado Cash. So you can run a mixing application on top of the Ethereum, and some very capable members of our community figured out some ways we could improve the privacy even more, and decided to launch it as an application on Ubiq. So yeah, and from what I'm hearing in the conversations, it sounds like they're not just going to keep it on Ubiq. We're going to see some deployments on different networks like Polygon or Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum Classic. Like these are all going to have implementations of our code bases. So that's kind of where, yeah, again, it's like the code is out there. It's open source. It's into the ether. Like once it's there, like there's no putting the rabbit back in the hat. Like so. I think there'll be some targeted regulation towards it. Some exchanges in the US I've seen have delisted privacy coins, and not even like all of them, just the big ones. So like Bittrex, they delisted a couple privacy coins, but I think it was related to their tokenized stocks. I think they didn't want any dark money going into the exchange without having like you can either have one or the other. Do you want tokenized stocks or do you want privacy coins? So that's kind of where we are seeing some more targeted regulation, that it actually is kind of working, or it is getting through, it is making changes to these products. So yeah, that's kind of where I see the privacy angle of things. it is important. Being anonymous in the space is like a privilege. Now that was another reason why like I kind of took the show for granted. I haven't been on screen in a while, so this is a treat for anyone who hasn't seen me in a bit. I've been working on my COVID beard, and yeah.
Well, we're privileged here then today. Speaking of privacy coins, did you see the arrest of Fluffy Pony?
Yeah, I read the article. It sounds like he was working for some cookie company down in South Africa, and then he managed to like create some fake invoices for like 100 grand in IT equipment. I'm surprised, like this is like 10 years later, it took him this long to like nail him on it. And at that point I'm like, isn't the statute of limitations like 7 years? So but he had to have some money to be contributing Monero all these years, so I guess maybe that's where he got it from. But
yeah, I don't know if there was some conspiracy about just because of his involvement with cryptocurrencies, somehow they're going after him now.
Yeah, maybe trying to pin something else on him, or I don't know. But
yeah,
because like he's a pretty wealthy guy. Like I've seen him at a conference before wearing like a $500,000 watch. So like I'm pretty sure he could settle whatever like amount is being disputed. So now they really want jail time for him. I don't think they care about the money. They care about the message.
Right, exactly. Setting an example. Oh man. Well, NFTs. Are you into the NFT space?
Oh yeah. No, I've been doing a bit of collecting. And then with Ubiq, we also are doing NFTs as well. So we're doing something a little different. We're doing physically redeemable NFTs. So the next one got teased yesterday, and I got one of them here that got framed. Oh, and I think this is my favorite framed one because the colors just match so well. So this was bought on the blockchain as an NFT, and then was redeemed and shipped to me. And then I decided to have it framed because I'm keeping it for a while. So that's kind of where we're at with Ubiq NFTs, and we're actually launching our marketplace on the 13th. One of the token teams has built out a full featured kind of like an OpenSea type marketplace, but for NFTs on Ubiq. And so we should be seeing a lot more activities with 721s and the different token standards, I guess, being on Ubiq. So we also have a project similar to Hashmass or CryptoPunks, but mainly using the token standard or the sale standard. So we'll see some stuff like that on Ubiq. But I have been dabbling in the Ethereum side, collecting some digital cats, random stuff like that. I figure if the 2017 bubble was based on CryptoKitties, then we'll probably see this bubble based on some other form of cat.
Yeah, that's a good prediction. And CryptoKitties have held their value, have they not?
I'm not sure. I never paid too much attention to it. I know a couple of friends who bought some Gen Zeros and did some breeding and stuff. I was actually at the conference, EdCon, where it was built. It happened in Waterloo, just down the road. And they had won the hackathon, and I didn't think anything of it. And then like a month later, all of a sudden the whole industry is going crazy over these digital breeding cats. But I think the main thing is that they can keep producing them. Like there's no upper bound for how many CryptoKitties there are. And it's all kind of like more of a game. I don't think it's so much based on the art. The main NFTs, like I went after a couple friends projects. And then I got a couple moon cats. I managed to get some from the rescue contract, and then I bought a couple more. So that's kind of where I'm at for NFTs, just dipping my foot in a little bit, but there's some other random stuff. The stuff where you just pay to mint and like there's no artist cost or whatever. That's kind of interesting to me. And I think that's kind of where I see a lot of more popular projects going. These punks are interesting though. I don't really follow too much of it, but there's definitely some interesting looking ones. But what about you? Have you managed to get any art pieces?
No, I haven't. I haven't, and I don't think I'm going to. I'm just too much of I don't know about a maximalist, but like I'm like 80% Bitcoin and like 10% ETH. Like I feel like I'm just being want to be super conservative. Like I personally got in 2017, 2018, where a lot of crazy shit was happening as well. And then over the years, I kind of just wanted to play it super safe until like, I get that financial freedom.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the 2017 bubble was very speculative. Like it was a lot of ICOs and people raising crazy money and promising big things. Not a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things delivered. Like even from like ICOs from like 2015, like they weren't delivering stuff yet. Um, but this cycle feels a lot more fundamental. Like there's a lot of critical infrastructure, a lot of key things that are aligning. Feels very much like when I first got in like the 2013-14 cycle, where there's actually like some real players getting involved. There's some real applications and use cases being built, like DeFi. Like this is some real shit. This is the entire like economic system being reinvented in a new medium, and like I've been wanting this stuff for a number of years, and like I think what the NFT space and like the art and the gaming stuff represents is proof of concept. Like if we can build these kind of economies using blockchain for these gaming systems and figure out the bugs and the parts that break and stuff in the gaming sector, then we can take these assets that have improved, these code bases that have improved, and then apply them to real stuff. Like I want to have the NFT of my cattle's pedigree, and I want that to be backed up for all eternity. And then, I want futures contracts for the wheat done on blockchain form. I want to be able to mint my own futures contracts for my own crops. Like this is the type of stuff that is coming, and I've seen it coming for a number of years, and it hasn't felt any closer than it does today, where we now see like, oh, these games are starting to come out, these DeFi products, these loans,
Mm-hmm.
these collateralized products. Like we're getting on that cutting edge where now people are building it, they're putting it out there for people to play with it, people are breaking it, and then they're fixing it, and then they're breaking it, they're fixing it, and it only gets stronger and better over time. And yeah, I'm really feeling good about this cycle. Like we got a big leg up to go.
Yeah, I suppose another challenge for me would be picking the winners. There's a lot of things out there, and regulation still to come, and I find that as a challenge. If I'm not knee deep in these things day in day out, then I feel like it poses a risk, and I don't want to put too much in my basket. And and I also think that if these types of things are going to succeed, we're probably going to see Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to do extremely well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like yeah, like when I bought Doge mainly because like it was a learning experience. Like I didn't buy an investment amount of Doge when I bought my $35 worth. It's like, oh, this is enough to, see how the wallets work, kind of gauge how QRs and stuff go down. And then like I bought Bitcoin, but literally like 30 minutes later, I had bought 3 other coins because I had been researching already and I was kind of like already interested. Because like part of my reason for getting in was like I wanted to have an investment portfolio that I was in control of. I didn't want to mess around at the bank. I wanted to, pick my own winners and losers. And yeah, like it was a pretty crazy time to do it. 2014 was mainly a down year, and 2015 honestly, I think was probably one of the coolest times to be in crypto because it was a sideways market and like people were just building and like trying to be creative because like, Bitcoin was sideways for a year. So, and I think a lot of the people who were around that time, like I call them Bitcoin hipsters because like they liked it before it was cool. There was like a feasible chance it could still go to zero at that point, where now it's completely validated. Like, the government can say whatever they want, but like Bitcoin and Ethereum are not going away. So yeah, it's hard to really diversify from there because like, critical mass is a hard thing to attain. But my thoughts are with Ubiq, if we're the same size as like Bitcoin was in 2010 or 2011, like then we've succeeded. Like we can last as long as we want to because like we have that minimum viable community and like people who are contributing and the resources that are required to run these networks. Because I've seen networks with even less people and infrastructure involved still surviving because they're basically acting like zombies. It's crazy the stuff that is still around from the ancient times. So yeah, I think it comes down to doing a lot of research and due diligence, and that was my main reason for doing a podcast. Was like I wanted to actually interview these people and like have the face to face, ask the questions, and put it out there online so people would ask the same questions and maybe be interested. Like I don't have a crazy amount of views on these old videos, but the people that did watch them, I think they came away with a lot more than just, you know, investment knowledge or trying to figure out what they want to buy. They knew what questions to ask for the next time and what to be looking for. So I think, you know, what you're doing here is probably one of the best things you can do for investing in the space. It's getting out there and talking to projects. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Well, absolutely. I mean, the best way is just to talk people, you know, meet people. You know, it's I don't meet people in the space every day when I'm out. So online's kind of where it happens for me. So I appreciate you coming on and kind of explaining things. What's so then in terms of investment, like where do you stand in terms of allocation?
Oh, it fluctuates so much day to day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I got stuff that's in like deep storage. You know, gotta call a few people in order to get all the stuff together. But yeah, I'm like always trying to be around 50% Bitcoin. And that's always been the case. Like yeah, like I'm always trying to stack sats, you know, and then yeah, like I can't even really count my Ubiq holdings because it's like it's always there. It's like it's never something I consider selling. It's just, you know, it's something I want to build out and actually utilize rather than like liquidate. And then yeah, like I got dabble, like I, you know, always holding a bit of Doge because I look at it as like the index for the space. Like if you're seeing Doge going crazy and you're looking at the Doge Bitcoin pair, you're seeing a pretty good indication of like where the market is. But my expectation got completely shattered with this Robinhood thing, and like I was always like, oh, buy Doge at 20 sats and then sell it at 100, and now it got up to 1,000. It's like, okay, this was not in any model.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, like I got random old ICOs and you know, there's always new projects, and now I have like my NFT portfolio, which I can't even really properly put on a balance sheet. So yeah, it's always like try and keep above 50% Bitcoin, 25-30% Ethereum, and then, you know, all the fun stuff, you know, you can have a little bit there. Me, I'm far more skewed because I got, you know, the Ubiq in my books, and it's not going anywhere. And yeah, a little Doge that is always changing the dynamics of the portfolio. So yeah, I think you know, play it safe. You know, don't be afraid to experiment and, you know, play around with little things. You know, if you at $35 is worth a hell of a lot more than $35 now. Like, so
I
you
can
can have these
imagine.
tiny parts
Yeah.
of your portfolio, the long holds, and you never know what they'll do in a few years.
Are you going to be doing any more podcasts?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of trying to find the time right now. The summer is turning into a really busy spot for me. Like I'm helping both my brothers out with the farming businesses. Like today, milking cows, raking straw. Like, but yeah, like there's some projects I really want to have a good talk to because like I'm interested in learning more about it, and you know, sometimes they want to get some feedback too from someone like myself who's interested and engaged. Because yeah, like when I did the podcast, I feel like the developers that came on walked away with like some insight of something they learned too. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I really want to have on the guys, Alex from Pi DAO. I think he'd be good, and then I got a really good panel member that would be interested in the dynamic between them, because like I tried to avoid myself being the conversation. Like I always wanted like a couple panel members, and the live audience. So I always love the guys who are, in the chat or asking questions beforehand. That's where the magic was happening. Like where you had some really great like moments. So I think if I really wanted to put more time into the channel again, it would be going through old episodes and putting clips together, because there are lots of like little magical moments that I don't think people would find in like a 2-hour show. So yeah, like that was the main part, was the live audience in Vancouver as well. Those guys, I'd like to have them come on, and like the kind of the magic of having like live applause.
Yeah, there's some.
One second, I gotta let my dog in.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, she's trying to dig in through the door. Yeah.
What kind of dog do you have?
An Australian Shepherd.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. I got her, and then 2 days later, Doge did a 10x. So I thought, okay, this is kind of this is meant to be.
Yeah, stars are lining up.
Yeah. So gotta respect the Doge.
Absolutely. You know what? The wallet I use added Doge, and I was going to add it, or just buy like a small bag. Never did. Sure enough, Elon starts pumping it to the moon. I'm thinking, I was so close to buying it, but it always feels like that when a coin you look at for a while and then you don't buy, right?
Yeah. Well, this Elon business is very strange. The things he's saying, like they don't really jive. Like he says he's working with Doge devs, and I'm like, okay, well, I know some people who kind of work on Doge. Like, I don't think any of them are talking to him. Like, oh, we're gonna stop using Bitcoin because of the environmental effects. So I was like, you didn't realize this before? Like, you're kind of running like an energy company. So part of me thinks he's kind of like purposely being like benign to like take everyone on the journey of learning about like these different aspects. Like, he's playing dumb in order to have everyone learn the lesson of what he's learning. But like that, like me being an electrical engineer, that's where I really saw a lot of connections being put together with Bitcoin, because just the idea of having one sec. The dog doesn't get to him.
Oh yeah. Got to protect those babies.
Yeah, like these are some limited edition stuff from 2014.
Oh yeah,
cards.
Oh, very cool.
We got Carpellis, Andreas, Charlie Schramm, Gavin Andreessen, and Jordan Fish, aka Crypto Covain. So yeah,
those are all NFTs.
No, these are pre-NFTs. What I might do though, I might list this on the Ubiq NFT store as like a physically redeemable thing. Because yeah, there's only I think like 80 editions of these cards out there. Someone decided to burn a set to try and make an NFT out of them. So we were very upset about that. Like he literally set them on fire. So a little disappointed in that. But we might try and do another edition as NFT. Yeah, like if you buy that set off the store, there's not only those 5 cards, but there's an unopened pack in that same case. So hopefully someone's interested. Maybe if I get on the conference tour again, I can get some signatures on it, because I'd like to see Andreas again and have him sign the card, and maybe get Jordan to sign his. And I don't know. We'll see about the other gentlemen.
Cool. I have a copy of Bitcoin Billionaires signed by the Winklevoss twins.
Nice.
And Bitcoin Hard Money You Can't Fuck With signed by Jason Williams.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite?
I got Mastering Bitcoin signed by Andreas as well, like one of the first paid for with Bitcoin prints.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of wear on it from the time that I was using it to learn some of the development stuff, but it's still collector worthy.
Yeah. How did that book help you? Like, did you find it super valuable?
Yeah, like I was trying to understand more about because I wanted to, like, I was playing around with an idea early on of like business card wallets. So the idea of just having like individually printed business cards with their own private key and address on them. So like you could tip someone like $1 of Bitcoin and give them the business card and be like, yeah, this is the most valuable business card you ever got. Like, but yeah, in the end, I think I ended up just printing off paper wallets for some people at work and giving them $1 of Bitcoin, and like, oh yeah, here, now you know how it works a little bit better. And I don't know how many of them kept that. Apparently it was a hot topic lately of people digging through their desks looking for them. They're like, oh, didn't he give you a paper wallet at some point? It's worth like 40 or 50 bucks now. So it's like, okay,
yeah. The return's awesome. People get so interested once they see that, right? Do you have any favorite? Is like Mastering Bitcoin? Do you have any favorite Bitcoin or cryptocurrency books, or just books in general?
I've been really enjoying The Unincorporated Man. It's kind of a fiction story from the future of like everyone has a stock associated with them. The reviews I saw were like, oh, it's a little dry. It seems to be more of an exploratory idea rather than a story. And like I kind of get that from it, but I like alternative futures. Like it kind of like, like I've always liked near future Earth sci-fi, just kind of things that are uh imaginary futures that are similar to ours or could be plausible to ours. So it's like, okay, well, how are they solving these potential problems and how can we approach those today? So those have always been of interest to me.
It's funny how inaccurate some of those older movies that tried to predict the future. It's funny how inaccurate some of them are. But do you have any favorite movies then that are in that genre?
I don't know. Movies are such a fickle thing for me because I can usually just nod off in anything. I think best movie I've seen recently, just because my dad liked it so much too, was Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson. Very very good action movie.
Okay, cool. I just watched the movie Nobody with the guy Saul from Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah,
Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
that movie was, if you like action, that's a good one to watch.
All right, put it on the list.
Alex, I'm gonna open it up to you if you have any final questions or comments before we wrap it up. If not, maybe just let the viewers know where to follow you.
Geez, questions for me or questions for you?
Whatever you want. Open mic.
Well, what we always did on my podcast was what do you think the Bitcoin price is going to be in a week? Because like we were doing them weekly, so it was like, okay, on the next show, what do you think the price is going to be? So my question, I guess, for you is like, what do you think the price of Bitcoin is going to be next Wednesday at this time?
Next Wednesday at this time. Let me check what it is. It's just under 40,000 right now, US.
Yeah, we usually go off Bitfinex, 34 or 39,400.
Yeah, okay, I got the same thing on Coin Market Cap here. I would say 40, 43 and a half.
Okay. No,
Yeah,
feeling the ball.
I mean a little bump.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not bear overall. I think we're gonna have an amazing Christmas because Bitcoin almost every time has pumped into Christmas Day, and like that's been the peak, or maybe like New Year's Day. But end of December, like definitely take a couple profits. Make sure you're paying off the student loans or that sort of thing. But I think for the rest of the summer, we're gonna see some chop. These guys who are playing with too much leverage, you're gonna get your hand slapped. It's gonna happen. Shorts wrecked, longs wrecked. So I think we're gonna continue this mini downtrend we have, and I'm gonna say 34,500. Yeah,
34.5. Wow. Okay, quite a little dip.
Yeah. Like it's still within like the box that we're in down here. But yeah, I think whenever the show comes out, we'll have a better idea of where we're at. Yeah. It's
Well,
been a
next
while
week.
since I've done.
Yeah. Well, if I'm right, I'll be in your inbox next week and say I told you so.
Floating. Okay. But yeah, follow me anywhere at Alex_Sterk, STERK. Follow Ubiq, ubiqsmart.com, Ubiq Smart on Twitter. I gotta get the Instagram going again. It's Ubiq Smart as well. UBIQ. The ticker is UBQ. Check us out on Bittrex, QuickSwap. We're on the Polygon network with the bridge. Check out ubiq.ninja. We got all the cool apps and dapps. You want to play with smart contracts, you've never touched it before, don't want to spend $10 on fees. Ubiq's there. We're here to let you play with whatever you need and create your own token, launch your own contracts. You don't need to spend the hours and hours of money and time to do all these cool projects. You can just do it on Ubiq, and the whole community is there to support you. So it's your network just as much as it is mine.
Super cool. Go to Ubiq, check it out. I appreciate your time, Alex. It's been a pleasure meeting you. I love meeting other Canadian Bitcoiners and people in this space. So again, thanks for your time, and I'll definitely be in touch within a couple days here.
Sounds good. Yeah, watch the old shows, everyone. Let me know if you find any cool clips. Save me the time looking for them.
Absolutely. I'll throw all the links down below in the show notes as well for everybody.
All right. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Love you all at home.
Thanks for listening to episode 52 of the Having Rapport podcast. If you like the show, please hit the like button, leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you back next time.